Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea. Let's go to press. This is Walter Winchell. Flash. Viewpoint, that fabulously famous program of personalities, politicians, and perspective, airs each Wednesday on WLCN 96.3. It's Wednesday. It's airing. Good morning, Mrs. Busby.
Good morning, airing. How are you?
How are you this morning?
Well, we have a very busy morning.
Yes.
Yes, we have.
These folks down here don't remember Walter Winchell.
Well, no, but they're...
Why Walter always wore his hat, his fedora in those days, to broadcast on radio was an enigma to anybody, but that was his shtick. That's what he did. Anyway.
The reason they don't know him is that they're younger than... They and most of America are younger than we are. That's the problem.
Well, kudos.
Okay.
My goodness, we couldn't start this morning without a kudo to the Lincoln Area Music Society. They put on a magnificent concert last Sunday. And I'm sorry for those of you who stayed outside because it was such a nice day and didn't come inside. And I went in and screaming and kicking because the weather was so nice. But boy, am I glad I didn't kick the last can over. It was a magnificent concert, and kudos and congratulations to, you know, these are all just folks that live with you and I, amateur musicians. Well, some of them could be very professional. And they contribute their time and their talent and their treasure to put on these programs. They do it twice a year. I thought it was just that and the choral group combined. It was a magnificent afternoon, so congratulations to you folks out there. And I was hoping that I'd see some comments in the paper or the media about that, and I haven't, so I guess I'll have to remedy that myself. My musical cornucopia folded over Sunday. I went down to the, or Monday evening, I went down to the concert at the, up to Bloomington at Bone Center to see United States Navy Band. What a program. What a program it was. You talk about talent. You know, that cost you and I, taxpayers, quite a buck to put those people on the road. It's worth every penny. What a great program it was. There's a young man that sang the Battle Hymn of the Republic, made your hair stand on your hair. It was just really outstanding. So my musical, oh, speaking of musical, on Wednesday, May the 9th, now mark this on your calendar, ladies and gentlemen out there, and we're going to be talking about this more as the month of April goes by. We're going to have the St. Louis Rivermen come in here for a concert at the Johnson Center at Lincoln College. It's going to be on Monday, May the 9th at 7 o'clock. We have limited seating. We only have about 300 seats there in the center, and I think it will fill up. So tickets can be obtained by contacting Amy Gallagher at Lincoln College in the President's office, 732-3155. Make arrangements to get those tickets quickly, folks, because I think they're going to go. St. Louis Rivermen are a great jazz outfit. I'd like to say also that the trustees of the college have popped forth and are spending their own treasure to bring this band in so that college is not at risk. So thanks to my fellow trustees. We have some guests to introduce this morning.
Yes, and they've got about 2 hours worth of things to tell us about, I think, so we best get on with it here. Yes, Mallory Ramos is the health educator at the Logan County Department of Public Health, and she's here with, I've drawn a blank. I told you I was having a...
Marsha Greenslate.
I knew that.
You
I knew
know
that.
her because her husband is the chief of police, and by George, you better remember that.
Well, I know. I've seen him too recently. I can't listen. Nouns are just eluding me today. I'm sorry, Marsha. You know I know who you are.
I certainly do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So
we do
please,
that. We come up black
let's just try and pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, the health fair is going on out at the rec, and it's this weekend, and they have so much to offer there. It's a 2-day deal, and I urge you to it's a 1-day deal.
The community fair is just 1 day. We bring 5th graders in on Friday for the Children's Health Fair. They're there
Short people Friday and tall people Saturday.
Well, not necessarily. There's tall 5th graders out there, believe me.
Okay, well, that's great. Tell us, some of the ladies, some of the things that will be offered by way of screenings, because you have ever so many. Marsha, you can talk first if you want to, since I owe you now.
I just hold on to my name. We'll let Mallory, she's obtained those screenings, so I'll let her explain those.
We have quite a few screenings this year. Most of them are free, so the free ones include pH screening, oral cancer screenings. We have a new skin cancer screening this year that's new from last year, so that one's also free.
Cholesterol.
We have cholesterol. That one's $5. The hemoglobin is just $1.
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure is free.
Body fat.
Body fat analysis is free. So we have quite a few different things that you can come in and get checked out.
An oral cancer screening.
That's actually being offered by the health department. Our dental clinic, we have our dental hygienist coming in and just checking people's mouths to see if they have any lesions, to see if they need to go, check that out with the dentist.
Now, how about the blood sugar / diabetes screenings? Would that be for someone who doesn't realize that they maybe could develop diabetes because of their lifestyle or what have you?
I don't believe we actually have blood sugar coming in this year.
We don't have blood sugar.
We have the hemoglobin, which checks for anemia.
Okay. And another thing that you have is people can turn in their medicines that you keep at the house because you don't know what to do with them. You're not supposed to flush them away, and you're not supposed to put them in the garbage, in the container. And so tell us how some of these recycling-ish type things work.
May I interject a question, if I may?
I think you can interject anything you want.
The matter of obsolete medicines. Normal thing is to throw them in the tank and pull the lever. Why is that not a good thing to do? I don't mean to jump on Judy's question, but I want to get that clear first, and then we'll go back to Judy's question.
About
flushing away your medicines.
Because it gets into the water system or whatever, or into the ground. So they certainly discourage flushing. What we do with those is we've actually get drug disposal boxes. They're cartons, so they can bring out their prescriptions or non-prescriptions drugs, cough syrup, anything that they have, if they just black out their name on the label. And then we have a pharmacist from Kroger's who checks them and makes sure that they're what they are, and then they just put them in the box. You can't get them back out once you put them in, and the box is already labeled and postage is already paid, and we just send it off then.
Where does it go
And then
when
I'm
it's
not
sent?
sure. With drugs that are not, how do I want to say this, drugs that you want to get rid of but aren't drugs that they can legally dispose of, then the police department is also on hand, and they will take those and dispose of them.
Perhaps it goes to a toxic waste disposal area.
I would assume. I honestly don't know.
My grandson
The hospital
sells that service for us, called SteriClean, out of, and they're a big operation. They're all over the world, and they dispose of toxic waste. And I stepped all over your question, and I do apologize.
No, that's okay. Don't say that.
She says, never apologize, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, when you're wrong, it's not bad, Not a bad thing if you're wrong.
One thing, too, about the drug disposal, and we've been doing it for a number of years, and I've always gotten a good response, but now we've also, through the Healthy Communities Partnership from the hospital, have those positioned at most of the pharmacies around town, and even Logan County, so at any time you could take those drugs that you don't know what to do with, or that you're afraid that they're going to get into maybe your kids' hands or whatever, and dispose of them with no problem.
Sometimes, well, I had this little car incident, a month ago, and they gave me some pretty powerful stuff. And Holy Friday, there you are in La La Land. People tell you something, and you just stand there and smile. You can't function. And it's just as well to get rid of things like that. It would be so awful if some little kid got something like that, because here I am, a great big bone girl, and it affected me. I can't imagine what it would do to a child. It would be just awful.
It's a big business now for the kids who use drugs to go in their, to go in their family's medicine cabinet or whatever and get those. So you really have to keep an eye on on how you're disposing of them, how even you're storing them at home.
Yeah, right.
Mallory, do you have a clue what Judy asked you before I got interjected there?
It was a few minutes ago, so it's
yes,
all
it was
gone.
a long time ago.
Time flies, doesn't it, Mallory? I don't know what it was either.
I didn't think so, yeah. Well,
it looks to me like you're going to have an awful lot of booths, and I see that State Bank is going to shred papers for people. Now, that's a nice service. A lot of people don't have a shredder at home.
It's an awesome service, and State Bank financially underwrites that. It's not an inexpensive procedure to do. We had it done out at work a couple years ago, but they bring in a big truck, and you can bring in your documents, and it just goes inside. You can actually watch it if you're concerned about that it's actually being shredded. And then they also this year are taking hard drives. So if you want to get rid of your hard drive, they will take those for destruction as well. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, in fact, there are a lot of things on that list of recycling type stuff. Hearing aids, eyeglasses. The Lions used to collect eyeglasses. Do they still?
And they still do. There's a couple of their spots in town, and they'll take them if they're broken or whatever. So you can get rid of your glasses. There's a lot of really good recycling opportunities. We've done that for a number of years, and it's been so well received that we've just continued to do that.
Plastic bags. You know, I think that's going to end up being the bane of our existence. If you just look in ditches and trees and fence lines and on and the corner of our block, the plastic bags are everywhere, and they don't go away.
They don't go away, and I've watched several pieces on plastic bags and doing studies out in the ocean and the waters and how much plastic they're bringing up, and it's just incredible. Yeah. It would kind of deter you strongly from using plastic bags.
Now, some of the grocery stores have a collection box-like thing. Where they'll collect them, but you're going to collect them as well, right?
Right, and Walmart typically will supply us with a box, and then they'll take care of them from there. So there are places that you can get rid of those, but it's, you know, keep them and just don't throw them in the garbage, because they're always going to be there.
They get loose.
An interesting aside, I asked in IGA the other morning if I noted they have a significant number of paper bags. And I asked if more and more people were asking for paper, and Dave Campbell says, in fact, they are. Interesting.
Well, I guess everybody's not. That and styrofoam, if they could figure out something to do with that, that's another big piece of litter. Or if we could just get people to pick up after themselves, that might help. Do you have a booth about that at all out there?
No, the common sense booth is not there this year.
Oh, heck. That could go a long way. Pop tabs from aluminum cans, are they in fact used by someone?
I believe that goes to the Ronald McDonald House.
I think you're right.
I think the parish nurses at their booth, they're going to be collecting the pop tabs.
We don't generate a lot of the aluminum cans in our. We don't do much in the way of soft drinks or beer or anything like that around there. But we do save what we do generate, and I think it goes to the Humane Society. I'm not certain about that. I dumped them in out there on the North Kickapoo Street. There's a big collection spot.
You can save and recycle. You need to.
And you're going to be supporting the food pantry, I see.
Absolutely.
Well, thank goodness for that.
With the Children's Health Fair, we always try to have a contest of some sort for the kids to do. And this year, it's not mandatory that they do it, but we offered that if they would go out and collect cans, and then they had the opportunity to make a canned food sculpture for competition. So we had a few schools participate in that. I won't announce the winner because we'll do that on Friday, but they came up with some really cute ideas.
Oh, good. Well, how clever.
There's a lot. If you just walk around out there on the day of the health fair, there's a lot of preparation there. There's a lot of man and women hours go into getting that place set up and, of course, taken down. So it's a big deal to get it put on, and that's this Saturday again. We certainly remember that is this coming Saturday.
We encourage everybody to come out. It's just such a good thing. There's so many opportunities with all the booths out there to access everything in one day. So many of the screenings, which we've talked about earlier, at low cost or no cost. It's such a good event, and we certainly encourage everybody to come out for a couple hours.
Mallory, how does one check body fat? You just grab that little ring around there and pinch it?
Well, the Park District is actually doing that.
It's a BMI/body fat indicator, and it's a electronic device that you actually just grip onto, and then it reads your body fat from that. It may not.
How do it know?
How do it know? The accuracy, I think, could be off a little bit either way, but it's the best that we have without actually doing a lot more.
Speaking of being off, to get my driver's license last October, and I peered into the vision thing, and I said to the lady, I said, "You got to be kidding me, really? I can't see anything." She says, "This doggone thing doesn't work anyway." So,
oh dear.
So I'm driving.
It's scary, actually, but thanks, Bill.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
There's one page in your bulletin, if you will, or program for your health fair that shows this poor stricken-looking fellow, and above him he's thinking about less alcohol, more vegetables, less caffeine, more starches, less cholesterol, more fiber, less fat. Well, and that is what we hear. So are you advocating like weeds and seeds only, or what?
Everything is okay in moderation. I think that's the key.
I think that's biblical.
Yeah, right.
Well, my plate just came out, and they want half your plate to be fruits and vegetables. So everyone obviously needs more fruits and vegetables. But, if you want to have a treat once in a while, it should be okay. But I think what we're saying is, fruits and vegetables most of the time, whole grains, just,
Portion sizes.
Yes.
It's important not only what you eat, but when you eat it and how much you eat of it. So, like Mallory said, in moderation, you can pretty much, you can eat a lot of
You can have your
items.
treats
You
still.
can have your treats. You just don't need to have supersize everything.
You just don't need to eat the whole bag full.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Or get the very small bag, and then you still can
I
eat the
get
whole
the
bag
little
full.
bag. Okay. What is Christian Child Care going to do at their booth? Do you know? I've got grandkids who went there, and we were all just very happy with their place. And I know they were having a little, not unlike everybody else in the world.
A major problem.
Yeah. And so they'll be there. So that I'd urge people to stop by there too. My gosh, the exhibitors are just endless. Logan County Paramedics Association, I'm quite well acquainted with most of them, and they're great people.
Yes,
We are just plain lucky in a community this size to have them. It's amazing. It's amazing. So stop and doff your hat to them at least, please.
No kidding about that.
I'm just talking the whole time. You want to turn?
You own 51% of the shares, so I'm getting you 51% of the time. Or better, who cares? Mallory, how did we find you here, and how did you find us in Lincoln?
Well, I was working on a master's degree up at UIC, and I had to get an internship for the summer, so I was actually down in Springfield at the American Cancer Society, and Logan County is one of their counties, so when this position came up, I went ahead and applied for it, and since a few of the people at the Cancer Society knew people at the health department, it worked out pretty well.
I'm glad to have you here with us.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Welcome. How long have you been with the health department now? 6 months.
About 6 months, so I'm settling in a little bit. First time for the health fair, though, so it's been a little crazy.
But Mallory's doing a great job. She has a calmness about her, which I certainly admire.
I'm calm at work. I just go nuts once I get home.
Well, okay.
She's doing a great
You have your
job.
work demeanor, and then there's the other. So, well, I want to
Okay.
say, those of us, thankfully, very thankfully, Gene and I have no real use for a lot of the services you offer out there. Amen for that. But when we go in out there for the shots and so forth, that thing, it's so smooth and so well run, and you have a great staff out there. And if I put my fedora back on, I'd tip it to you for that because it's a nice operation. Do you think we should perhaps think in terms of a commercial at your convenience, Mr. Engineer?
Okay.